What's up, guys? Nolan here, and today I will be talking about the new Israeli Nation pack being added into Wargame Red Dragon next month. Eugene hosted a live stream earlier today showing off the current build of the pack, and it was pretty badass. Israel is going to be able to hold its own against any other nation easily with its strong land and air power, which is a combination of American and Russian weapons along with some originally designed Israeli stuff. Its only weakness would have to be the variety of AA vehicles, where it's sort of lacking in a good SAM launcher, but with the variety of vehicles that it does have, paired up with some strong ASF planes, I don't think you're going to have too much of a problem keeping the skies clear. So let's get started with the logistics from top to bottom. We've got some command infantry and a variety of different transports, including a mid-level Merkava tank, which is one of the cooler things about this nation. They have tanks as transports for some units. Then we have the usual variety of command vehicles that differ in armor and availability, once again including mid-level Merkava tank as well as a CV chopper. Last but not least, we got the usual fob, including a large chopper for supplies, a Hemet, and a smaller truck, also for supplies. Now for infantry, we have two different kinds of manpad units with some stingers, then some really cool ATGM teams with the Spike ATGM launcher. It's got 21 AP, 2,625 meter range, and 65% accuracy while traveling really quickly. It's a really cool missile here, guys. We got some different kinds of weapons teams with SMAs, and then the other team I'm actually not sure about because they never clicked on it in stream, so we'll have to wait and see what they got going on there, but it's mostly going to be another AT team as well. They have a Marine unit with RPGs and Galils, some basic cheap spammy reserve infantry. They have an SF unit with AKs, a SMA, and PKMs. We also have an infantry squad that carries SMAs and 240 Bravos that's other than the SF infantry. The main force of infantry are the Roviats. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and you're going to keep hearing that because a lot of these are weird names that I'm not going to be able to pronounce. But anyway, the Roviats, or raviolis, whatever you want to call them, have the M16s, along with 16 AP rockets, the Law rockets, and 240 Bravos that can be transported in Merkavas or a variety of armored and soft vehicles. Including of which, we have the BTR-152, which is the lightly armored six-wheel truck, then the Bardellas, which is essentially an M113, including the Zelda, which is also basically an M113 variant. The Nagmakon is pretty cool armored vehicle. It looks like they pretty much just took an air traffic control tower and glued it onto the top of a tank. The Agsrarit is basically a tank chassis, so it's pretty heavily armored. And then we have two kinds of Hueys, the Anafa and the Bell 205A. For support, they have a few cheaper Spag trucks along with a Pivad-like M113 that has a cannon on top, as well as Stinger launchers that can both shoot at the same time, which is pretty cool. For SAMs, they've just got two options of Hawk launchers, which are okay, but like I said before, that's definitely their weakness. Now for artillery, this is a very different story. They have huge variety of gun artillery, with the Sholef being the most interesting, although they didn't actually show it on stream, but because it's got the highest point value with 125 points, I'm sure it'll pack a punch. They also have a close-range napalm launcher, as well as a long-range HE and long-range airburst MLRS, so multiple launch rocket systems there. They also have a variety of mortar carriers. Now for the tanks. We have mainly three families of variants here with the Patton, the Centurion, and the Merkava, and then they just have one PT-76. The PT, as well as the Centurions, are your cheap spam tanks, while the Pattons, or the Maga, I didn't want to pronounce it funny, but it's just funny. The Maga 6 and 7s, which are the Pattons, are pretty cool and have a good variety of armor and damage. And same thing goes for the Merkava, except you can go ahead and tilt that all the way up to 10 for sure. Because the top Merkava, which is the Merkava 3D BAZ, with a 200-point price tag, 24 front armor, 65% accuracy on both its 22 AP, 120mm cannon, and 4 2,800-meter 22 AP ATGM missiles, it's the most expensive, easily one of the most deadly, and most heavily armored, at least frontally, tank in the game. Next up, we got the Recon units with the usual scattered variety, but there are a few cool units to show off for sure, which would first be the Ram with a very good view range and AA capability since it's got the Spag up top. Then we have the HVMs that has 29 round a minute 60mm cannons that have 11 AP, but it's got no armor, sort of, because it's an M113. Last but not least, we have the SF Recon infantry, the Maglan, with their very own Spike ATGM launcher that I mentioned earlier, and the ability to be transported in a CH-53 chopper that has some crazy ATGMs of its own strapped onto the side. They have 4 Nimrod missiles that have 2,975 meter range, 70% accuracy, and 28 AP power. Amazingly powerful combo there with the Recon infantry, the Maglan, as well as that CH-53. For vehicles, they have the cheap Sherman tank with a 105mm gun at 11 AP. Then they have 7 different ATGM carriers. Coolest of which is the Para, which is a moderately armored vehicle with the now strongest ATGM in the game, the Spike Endless missile. This missile travels very quickly with 60% accuracy and 2,975 meter range. It can reach out and touch somebody and also will most certainly leave a mark with its 27 AP power. There's also a cheaper M113 variant that carries the same Endless missile as well. Same stats with the missile. For choppers, they have a very cool variety with the Tesfa, which is an American Cobra pretty much, with one variant being equipped with rockets and Stinger missiles, while the other switches out the Stingers for just more rockets, and those are HE rockets, by the way. Then they have the P-10, which is a Apache with 16 Hellfires to be their longbow variant, I guess. Going to be very good against tanks there, obviously. And then we have the 2 Laha Tuts, which are little birds with some tow missiles. I'm totally calling them Laha Tows. Now, last but not least, we have the Air Tab, which is one of the best rounded in the game. Israel has many different planes that can fulfill any role needed. They have F-4 Phantoms, F-16s, F-15s, and Mirage variant planes with HE bombs, airburst bombs, laser-guided bombs, ATGMs, napalm, as well as SEED. They also have a few different kinds of ASF planes as well. Most badass being what they refer to as the bomb truck, with the LAV bomber, the LAVI bomber. It's 500 kilogram bomb payload. Will totally have a new scary plane in town here, guys, to put up there with the B5 and the IL-102 as well as the F-111. And you know what? Even speaking of B5s, they even have a Mirage with a 1,400 kilogram single bomb as well, called the KFIR C7. It's nuts. So they got a B5 and they got an F-111 in their air tab, as long as with SEED, napalm, ATGM F-16s, F-15 ASFs, F-16 ASFs, and Mirage ASFs. Crazy air tab here, guys. This is going to be a really, really cool airborne deck here for sure. So it really is amazing the amount of destruction you can unleash with these new Israeli units here, guys. I'm really glad the community voted to put them in the game, and I can't wait to play them next month, and maybe, potentially, even a little bit earlier, but we'll have to see about that. I hope you guys are excited as I am to play this new nation, and I also hope that you enjoyed the video, and I also hope that you have a nice day. See you guys.
201 point something.